So these are the things I'm going to cover tonight for you, and I welcome any interruption or interjection or any questions. So we might move to the next. So relationship, so critical. It flabbergasts me that I can do a car auction and I can have a buyer come up to me and talk to me about the market, and they're educated. They know that Corolla is worth X amount of dollars between that range. We know that Droughtmaster steer is worth so much a kilo within a range. The same with plant and equipment, the same with fine arts, although it begins to get out there when emotion takes place. And then finally we get to real estate, and I have to say from an auctioneer's perspective, sometimes I hear agents ask a buyer who's registering, have you been to an auction before? No. You're about to make the most important decision of your life in most cases, and you're walking in with the least amount of experience. So there is the key to confidence, relationship. We've got leading agents here in this room. They want to build, they have a relationship with their vendor. You give them the key to your home worth millions of dollars potentially. You tell them about the dog and the children and what they're doing and what your plans and aspirations are as a vendor. And you're hoping that with that relationship that you've got with this team, you're going to get a great result. But when we are dealing with buyers, buyers are being taught out in the marketplace, keep your cards close to your chest. Don't tell them too much. Have you been looking long? Oh no, not really. That is not going to help you. In all of those auction environments, the key to success for both the seller and both the purchaser is the relationship that they have with the agent and the auctioneer. Okay? And that is a real critical area. Get to know your agent. When you're out looking at property, you'll meet these guys. We're not villains. We're here to help you. We're here to bring you together and keep you happy on both sides. That is so important. They will give you the right advice. And of course there's variations in that. There's variations in the quality of what I showed you in that collage of video. There are bad, there are good, there are excellent. Get to know which is the best of the best and gravitate to them, okay? Ask the questions. Vendor expectation. How long has it been on the market? Get to know the product and you'll get the right answers from your agency. Be honest. I mean, it's as I said, have you been to the bank? No. Well, what are we left with on the day? You're left with no information, we fly blind, and the buyers are not telling us anything. So I'm hoping that you can see that if you can build your relationship with us, we can build the relationship with you, and we can bring you together in that transparent forum. So research your area. Naturally, if you're going to buy a car, if you're going to buy livestock, if you're going to buy a fine art, you're going to spend the time to research the product. Research the area and the product. We live in a day of instant information on your iPhone. Get your price comparisons. In a rising market, what happened last weekend? It's there, it's available. We're here to help you. We'll tell you. So you're armed before you get caught up into the emotions. And that leads us, of course, into the marketplace. We're in a bullish market. There are about a dozen markets within the market, so price range is everything. If you know your price range and know the competition that you've got in that price range, you're better prepared to either have a victory, if you like, or perhaps cope with the emotion of being an underbidder. Okay, attend. So many times you'll meet Bill. G'day Bill, how you going? Yeah, good. You going to bid today, mate? Nah, mate, I've got plenty of stock. What's he doing there? He's going to turn up and talk to this fellow who is going to bid. How are you finding the market? Oh, gee, the market's a bit bullish today. Yeah, it's got a record price. They're working to understand what the market is doing without actually having to put a bidder's card up or wink or do anything of that nature. They're getting to know what the market is telling them, and they're going to be able to make valid decisions in the weeks and months ahead based on that market research. Familiarise yourself with the process. If you've got time, I mean, you spend probably more time on the internet researching the next watch you're going to buy than you would perhaps a house in many cases. This is what I've seen. Familiarise yourself with the process Get to know what the different auction processes are doing. Get to know what the auctioneers are like. We've all got our own style, our own way we like to nurture you into making a transaction. So get to know us. That's what it's about. It's about relationship and knowing that process. Of course, observation, and as I said, get to know the auctioneer. We're not ogres sitting up there. We're there to do a job. We're there to get the best possible price for our vendor, of course, but also to ensure that our buyers are delighted with what they've purchased on the day, regardless of the product. Your due diligence goes without saying. You wouldn't turn up and buy a car at auction without perhaps getting an NRMA inspection or asking to have a good look or sit behind the wheel and get a feel for it. Do your homework. Have a look at your location, sit quietly in the street before you put your hand up, get to know the neighbourhood, the schools, the facilities, transport, etc. The reason why I say that, and the reason why perhaps that sounds really obvious, is what I'm leading up to here is I find on the day of a real estate auction, there is a lot of stress and a lot of tension from a lot of buyers. Very few buyers seem comfortable with the process that's about to unfold. It generally seems to be enormously stressful. So background and inspect, of course, you know, your pest in your building and get through it and really be comfortable with this is where we want to be, this is where we want to live. And your financial preparation goes without saying. How many times have we got to Saturday and we've got somebody long in the face, they've done all their homework, and at 5 o'clock on Friday, the bank has not given them a firm commitment to go ahead. It's extremely devastating. You can't, I've seen it in so many people's eyes, there's a little boom, hoping it won't sell and that they can get on with it on Monday. Have plenty of time to get your finances in order. Okay. Market changes. Awareness that fluctuations, including increases, may occur prior to auction. Again, we get back to relationship. These guys will tell you when you're buying what's occurring over that period of the marketing campaign. So don't just look at it in week 1 where the guide is $1 million and then turn up in week 3 without communication. The market might be telling us that the guide is now 1.1, or we've had pre-auction offers of 1.2. We're a phone call away. We will tell you that, because we don't want you, if you are absolutely out at $1 million, to come along and waste your time, effort and energy. And that's really important. So increases, and equally, as I said, markets within markets, there are some price ranges that are a little tighter. And of course you might find yourself in a position where we think the guide is here, but it might have come back a little bit. Be aware of that as well, and that might suit you, okay? Maintain that contact and adjust your expectations accordingly. This is about emotional control. We don't see the livestock auctioneers in agents and buyers in tears, generally speaking, unless there's a drought on, of course. But generally when the market is stable, their decision making is pretty cold and calculated. You know, same with motor dealers. A motor dealer can walk past a car and with an experienced eye just give you the flick of the wrist or whatever he wants to do and keep going. He knows it's worth that and that's it. Real estate, there's a lot more emotional attachment. We're trying to minimise that. The day before, okay, you've done it. Spoken to our agents. The agents have worked closely with you as buyers. You've worked through the process. You've been to a few auctions. You've got to know the auctioneer. You've got to know the agents, and your market is pretty well set. You need to discuss, if you're in a household, you need to discuss and set a true limit. There's been many a time where I have seen somebody bidding and they've gone, and then there's the kick from the partner and the card goes up again. 30 years of this, I have to say, I'm not a social worker, and I say this, and I'm not a social worker, but it's going to be a rough ride home because one of you is going that way and the other's going that way. So please, set a true limit. Be clear about who's going to do the bidding. Well and good to hold the card and tell me you're not going to do any more bidding, and as I said, get a tap from behind. So whoever wears the trousers perhaps should take control of the card. Best and worst case scenarios, it's true, isn't it? Best and worst case scenarios. Best thing on the day is we're victorious. We've paid a lot less than we thought we would. We're the highest bidder and it's all exciting. Okay, great, thumbs up. Worst case scenario is we're the underbidder, or it raced away from us. You have to discuss those scenarios to keep your emotions in check so you don't feel hammered at the end of the day. It can be an exhausting process. Pre-register. We're available during the week to pre-register you. You don't have to turn up at the last. Oh, shivers, I left my ID back. My goodness, we've travelled from Tumut. I haven't got my driver's licence. Fair Trading won't let us register you. Sorry. Boom. Pre-register. It just means you've got to pick the buyer's card up before. You don't stand in a queue. There it is. Great to see you. You can relax on the day. Terms and conditions. I want to just move on with that. There they are on the sandwich board. They've got to be on display. Okay. The interesting thing with terms and conditions is that there are obligations on buyers. Okay. To engage in the goodwill of the sale. So we're here in a public forum to put our hand up, to abstain from any practice that will hinder free and open competition. That includes abstaining from bidding or any other practice that will hinder the flow of the sale. So that's legislation. There are obligations for you as buyers because at the end of the day, I'm the facilitator as auctioneer. I want to do the best for our vendor, but I really want to do the best for yourselves. I want you to be comfortable with the fact that you are the highest bidder or you've reached a level and you're satisfied that's as far as you want to go. That's my job, is to bring both of you together. So one last thing I'd like to say about bidding, just simple bidding. Doesn't matter what it is in that video. The buyers that tend to buy and are successful are the ones that are most comfortable with the process. So if you are well educated to the process of buying at auction, if you are comfortable and you roll with the flow, perhaps open the bidding. You are stamping your authority on the process, you're engaging in the goodwill of the sale. Of course, you can stop at any time when you feel that you have reached your limit or you feel the value is not there. But 9 times out of 10, the most successful buyers, whether it be plant and equipment, whether it be livestock or cars or fine arts, are the ones that look the most comfortable on the day. They're not panicking about making the decision with the calculator. They're not one saying no, the other saying yes. The kids are on the swings. It's all emotional, okay? The ones that get the best result are the ones that are most comfortable with the process.